So I was thinking about starting a YouTube channel for a very long time now, but I never really felt, ready, or I never really felt to be at the level where I need to be to start posting on YouTube. I just had, that imposter syndrome, but recently a lot of people have been, telling me, hey dude, you should definitely, start posting stuff on YouTube. You should definitely start documenting stuff that you do. And that encouraged me to start posting, and it got me thinking, if I'm ever going to start, it has to be at this period when I'm still building, when I'm still figuring things out, because that's when I can actually share valuable lessons with you guys. So here I am. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Carlo. I started as a video editor online like 5 years ago. I was doing freelance video editing. Now I run a marketing agency where we scale and grow e-commerce brands. I will talk a bit more about myself and my story a bit later in the video. But first off, I want to start, by just talking about what's the main purpose of this video and what's the main purpose of this channel and why did I even, start this thing. So the main purpose will be to just help as many people as possible to get into marketing and to get into doing marketing online, simply because there's an insane demand right now for it, and there has been no better time and place to get into it, really. And in my opinion, it is the most rewarding skill that you can learn, simply because just when you think about it, imagine having the ability to be able to sell anything to anyone. So having the ability to sell any product to anyone, any service to anyone, is just like a very, very valuable skill set to have as a person, simply because people have been selling stuff, from like back in the days, like from like medieval times, like from when currency exists, people have been, selling stuff, trading stuff. And there was always kind of marketing involved, and like that was happening, like I said, in the medieval times. It was happening before the internet, it's happening now on the internet, and it's going to be happening in the future. So just having this skill set of like marketing, advertising, and the ability to like pursue other people to buy products is something that's always going to be needed, and something that's just, I can confidently say, once you learn that and once you start applying that, and once you hopefully start making money with it, you're just gonna continue. You're just gonna keep using it for the rest of your life. Okay, I can guarantee you that, because people will always be selling stuff, and they will always need help with selling their products or services. So this is literally the highest leverage skill you could get into right now online, and in my opinion, it is like incredibly easy to start if you have the right guidance, which is exactly why I made this channel. So I'll be sharing some of my, biggest learnings, lessons from the arena, from, going from a freelance video editor to now running a marketing agency and working with, 7 to 9 figure e-commerce brands. I'll talk about my journey, how I started, how I transitioned from just a video editor to then doing marketing for these brands, why I did that, why I even decided to get into ads and into e-commerce. I'll share all of my lessons and stuff that I learned, with just like one simple goal, and that is to help as many people as possible, to help you get into that and to potentially do something similar for yourself. So if you're here, if you're watching this video, I want to make sure your time is worth spending here. So I'll do my best to provide as much value as I can through this video and through other videos that I'll post on this channel. And one thing I do want to point out, because I'm recording this video here on this beautiful lake, that does not mean that this is how my life looks like. That does not mean this is how my every day looks like. The truth is actually very, very far from that. And I do want to talk a bit about this, because unfortunately all these kind of online gurus, online coaches have portrayed this lifestyle of like, when you start making money online, everyone kind of shows like luxury lifestyle, traveling, expensive watches, expensive cars, and that just like honestly pisses me off, because like that kind of culture is led by materialism, hyper-consumerism, and that is everything I stand against and I go against. So you will never see me, like flexing my cars or watches or whatever, or my expensive lifestyle, simply to get your attention. Uh, that's just not what I want to do. I will be the happiest person, alive if this video gets even 100 views, and I'm able to help a few people who actually get it and who are not attracted by like fancy stuff, expensive stuff, because that's really not what I'm aiming for, and that's not what I want to talk about. I really want to share lessons, and I want to share how an actual day-to-day looks like when you're working online, when you're building an online business. Because I can assure you, everyone who's making serious money online is not constantly traveling, is not kind of having this luxurious lifestyle. I'm sure some people are, but if you really want to build something real, if you really want to build a business, if you really want to build a skill set, I have these cute ducks behind me. So if you really want to build a real skill, if you want to work on developing yourself, if you want to just like continue getting better, that's on the other side of it. Okay, so that's not on the side of constantly traveling, working from a laptop on the beach, like that type of lifestyle. Just not gonna happen. Okay, like even though I am here, but I'm here simply because I took like a few days break with my fiance here. We're traveling a bit because it was our anniversary, so I took a few days off. But you have to understand, like for the last 6 months, I was like in a monk mode. I was like working 12 hours days constantly, just grinding, building, like developing myself, like learning. And like just now, I took like 3 days off, and like I'm not even off. I'm still working. So that's really what I'm kind of trying to show you here, and that's what I'm trying to make people aware of. Because unfortunately, like I said, this kind of culture of online money making and online success is unfortunately very driven by materialism, which I want to kind of stand against, and it's everything I hate. So if any of this sounds remotely interesting to you, then you're at the right place, because again, I will do my best to actually try to provide value through these videos, and not just flash my Porsche, or my expensive watches, or whatever these guys are doing. I actually want to share valuable stuff to you guys, and I want to help as many people as possible start doing this stuff as well. And then once you actually make it happen, once you get into marketing, once you start working online, once you start getting income online, it's up to you whatever you want to do with it. But I will always preach constantly working on yourself, constantly developing yourself, and just constantly getting better. So that's what you can expect from my content. I don't want you guys to expect that you'll see me recording what I had for dinner or stuff like that. Obviously I'll try to share some stuff that I do day to day, but it really won't be a lifestyle. It'll be really just sharing value and trying to provide as much value. So that's what you can expect from this channel and these videos. Oh, I know I just talked about how I don't want to flex my lifestyle and stuff that I do outside of work, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you guys where we're staying. It's very sick. It's actually very pretty. So this is on the border of Slovenia, Italy, and Austria. It's like a small cottage. I'm not gonna go inside. But yeah, it's very peaceful. I love these locations where it's like just outside of city, outside of not close to to other people, where you can just like have peace, and where I just have some time to reflect on stuff that I've been doing. And like I just love the air here, because obviously this is up in the mountains, and it's just like very crisp and it's very fresh. We've been actually running every single day, which has been super nice. But yeah, this is kind of the backyard that we have here. We're staying inside of here. This is kind of the like a nice hot tub that we have. So yeah, it's been super nice. We were staying here for 4 days. And yeah, it's been super nice, and we've been having a good time here. Okay, cool. So now when I pretty much doxed my location, I want to talk about my journey online so far. So what I've been doing, for the past 5 years. What did that journey look like? Some stuff that I learned along the way, and hopefully, just like share my experience so far. Hopefully, hopefully someone can see this and take some value from it and apply it for themselves. So as I said, I basically started as a freelance video editor. So I was just doing like basic editing for like creators and like small businesses and stuff like that, running their Instagram accounts. So that was kind of my main thing I was focusing on. And then from there, I started working with some drop shipping clients. I actually had a friend um, who was kind of into drop shipping. He was working with some drop shippers. He was even doing some drop shipping himself. He was mainly working with like drop shippers to build their landing pages and stuff like that. And that's how I kind of got into the whole e-com space. So as I said, I was always kind of a creative person. I was always into design, video editing, and just like doing creative stuff. I was kind of monetizing that pretty well. I was, getting paid a decent amount, as much as you can earn doing that stuff. Um, and that was pretty much what I started with. And then that friend was, working in drop shipping, and that got me really interested because, drop shipping was like a very, kind of hot topic at the moment. So this was, like back in around like 2019, 2020. That's when I think I started somewhere around there. Um, and it was just like very popular on YouTube. Like a lot of kind of YouTubers and stuff were popping off, like doing drop shipping. Like they were flexing their lifestyle and like driving Lambos, which was very kind of incentivizing, and it got me interested. As sad as that sounds, but yeah, I got interested in that. I kind of chatted with that friend. I asked him, how do you get clients and stuff like that. He told me to use Upwork, to like just sign up on Upwork, make a profile, and start applying to job posts, which is exactly what I did. I made an Upwork profile. Back in the days, you could still like make an Upwork profile, and because right now on Upwork, if you want to apply on job posts, you need to buy connects, to like then spend connects to apply to job posts. But before, you could just like make an account and apply to job posts straight away. So that's what I did. I basically like put together a very simple like Upwork profile. Like talking about some of my previous experience that I had in creative fields like editing, design, stuff like that. And I started reaching out to job posts that were mentioning drop shipping, like ads, designing for landing pages and stuff like that. And I landed my first client basically 2 days after I signed up, which was just like incredible. And yeah, I started working with that client. He was running his own drop shipping stores, and that's when I actually started learning about copywriting. And that's when I actually started learning about buying psychology and how to sell stuff to people, which basically sent me down a huge rabbit hole, and it got me very interested in the topic. And I realized, okay, I was kind of using my editing design skills right now to just like purely post organic stuff for small businesses and stuff like that on Instagram. Um, and I realized I can actually use those exact same creative skills that I have, like editing, design, um, in e-commerce. I could help, stores develop their, like images for websites. I could help them make landing pages, and that's when I actually started combining my creative skills with the kind of skills of selling stuff, which was I started learning about direct response copywriting, which is basically writing copy that sells products. So I started building and developing landing pages and product pages that kind of drop shipping stores were then testing. And then from there, since I was pretty good at I kind of got the hang of it pretty fast. Because I got interested in it super fast. It was just like super interesting to me. Oh, I can write this sentence in a certain way. I can write this headline in a certain way, and then someone's gonna read it, and then they're gonna want to buy the product. And that was just like wow, you know, that just got me very interested. Um, so naturally, I started, since I was making landing pages, I was making product pages for products. Naturally, I got into making ads for those same products as well. So that's kind of the second thing that I pivoted in. And I was kind of doing that for that first client that I was working with, and I started getting multiple clients because I realized, you know, like there's just a lot of job posts for this, and there's just a lot of people looking for editors and looking for people who can make ads for their products. And this was a huge kind of turning point for me, because I realized, okay, I could be using the same skills that I have, you know, like editing. I was mainly kind of doing video editing, but I also had pretty good graphic design skills. And I realized, okay, I could be using those same skills to make ads. And then those ads, you know, like brands run them, and if the ads are profitable, if the ads are good, they make money. And I was like, huh, that's that's a much interesting thing to do than, you know, just like doing organic stuff. Because if you make someone an Instagram post, if you make someone an Instagram reel, you know, they can get 1,000 views, 2,000 views, whatever, 10K views, whatever the amount is, but they don't really have a direct return on it. And with ads, they have, because if the ad is good enough and if the ad works, they, you know, they have instant return on it. And so that was incredibly interesting to me, and that's when I realized, okay, this is a high leverage skill. Let me try to become the best that I can at it. And so I did. So like that's kind of, you know, fast forward 1 year, one and a half year into the journey, you know, just like, you know, when I'm talking about it now, it just like all sounds so simple, and it all sounds like, you know, it connected super easy for me. But you know, that's not the case. It was just like a lot of trial and error. And now when I look back at, you know, some ads that I did, I cringe super hard because they're just so bad. You know, at the time I thought I was cooking. At the time I thought I was so smart. But you know, what can you do? It's just like, it's just, you know, the process of developing yourself and getting better. But yeah, that was kind of fast forward 1 year. I was just like doing that, working with multiple clients, you know, like mainly drop shippers, to be honest, and, you know, helping them with kind of copywriting for their product pages, landing pages, and then as well making ads for their products. So that was kind of my main focus and main thing that I was working on and I was doing. And you know, I was pretty comfortable with it. And then I realized, okay, if I want to scale this further, you know, I thought the only thing I could do is actually, you know, hire some editors under me, and then I can focus more on, you know, managing clients, getting new clients and stuff like that. So that was kind of the next natural thing. At least I thought that was the next natural thing that I you know, wanted to do. So I did. I remember back in the days, I basically opened WhatsApp on my phone, and I started asking everyone. I started asking my friends, "Hey, dude, do you want to, you know, like make some cash on the side? Do you want to, you know, make some money on the side?" And I tried to get some of my friends into it, and some kind of ended up doing it, and they're doing like extremely well right now. Some just ignored me and thought that I'm weird and that I'm crazy. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. I basically started growing my small agency, and at least I thought it was an agency. It was just like me, and I ended up scaling to like 5 editors under me, I think, something like that. So I was kind of mainly handling strategy for clients, so coming up with ad ideas, writing scripts, copywriting, and stuff like that. And the rest of the stuff actually piecing ads together and stuff like that. I had team members do that, so editors and designers. So they were managing that, and you know, I was doing pretty decent. So like when I actually got to that point, I was you know, making comfortably, you know, 5 figures a month, which I don't really love to talk about, you know, income and that side of things. But yeah, I was very comfortable and I was doing pretty well. You know, I thought I was hot shit, and I was doing extremely well. You know, it was going okay. And like main source of clients, to be honest, I never did cold outreach. I never did like, you know, cold DMs to clients. I never did that, to be honest. My main like source of getting clients was honestly through Upwork. So like applying to job posts on Upwork, because my main kind of my main thinking behind it was, why should I go and try to sell my services to people, like, to like cold audiences, like, you know, cold email and stuff like that, and try to find brands and try to, you know, chase brands, when there's basically you know, a shit ton of brands on Upwork already looking for me, or already looking for these services. So I just kind of did outreach there. You know, that was working extremely well. And then one other source of kind of clients that I got was just like word of mouth. It's just like people recommending me to other, you know, brand owners and stuff like that. So that was kind of, those were two of my main sources, and you know, it was doing well. And then while I was doing outreach, I met an interesting guy. His name is Spencer, and he's actually now one of my partners. Uh, and basically, I chatted with him, and he was already running a marketing agency. And he basically not convinced me, but it was just a logical step for me to join them and just like quit everything that I was doing. Because like, maybe for, if you're watching this and if you're kind of in this space of, you know, like editing and, you know, like outsourcing work and stuff like that, I basically dropped everything I was doing until then. And I basically sacrificed my income to join Spencer at his agency and to help him build the agency, because of one simple reason, and that is I realized I still don't know shit, and that I'm still not good enough, and that I still need to work on myself, and that I still need to develop my skills before I'm able to, you know, lead other teams, and before I'm able to actually provide results for clients. So this was one of my biggest kind of turning points, to be honest, and one of the biggest realizations that I had. If you want to succeed in this space and like truly succeed, you need to be focusing on results, and you need to be focusing on results more than anything. So to give you context, you know, with my small agency that I was running, we were mostly focusing on delivering creatives. Okay, so like, you know, we closed the deal with the brand. Hey, we'll make, you know, 5 ads for you every single week. That's it. You know, we deliver those, you know, and that's it. And that's where the story ends. But I realized you have much higher leverage if you can actually guarantee results to someone. And and that was like my next kind of turning point and my next realization. I'm like, damn, okay, I can't only be doing this just for the sake of doing it. I actually need to start thinking about results, and actually need to start thinking about how to deliver results to brands, and how to actually scale a brand with ads and with, you know, paid advertising. So that was my next logical step in kind of the in my journey, and that's why it made sense to basically abandon everything I was building. I basically stopped working with all the clients that I had at the moment. I quit the agency that I had, and I started working with Spencer and his team, and it was probably the best decision that I ever made, to be honest, simply because I got into an environment where there already were people doing better than me. Obviously, Spencer is someone who I learned a ton from. And you know, our second partner, Sean Eng, is also someone who I learned a lot from when I joined them. Because as I mentioned, they already were running a marketing agency, and it was, you know, a much kind of bigger agency than mine, because they were actually, you know, focusing on multiple aspects of growing an e-commerce brand, and that's where I got, you know, a lot of kind of experience from, and that's when I actually, you know, learned a lot of things about, you know, marketing psychology, and how deep you can actually go when you're making ads, and how you can actually, you know, make ads that actually drive revenue and that actually drive results. I kind of knew that before, and I knew that, you know, brands need ads to be profitable so they can, you know, live off of them. But you know, when I joined Sean and Spencer, that really kind of opened my eyes of what's possible, and it opened my eyes on what I should be focusing on. And that's not just, you know, outsourcing work, and not just focusing on, you know, delivering ads and delivering creatives to clients, but actually, you know, getting results for them. So that was my kind of next step. I joined them, I helped them build the agency. I basically kind of rebuilt their entire creative system, because, you know, that was kind of their biggest bottleneck. So Sean was, you know, like very, you know, like kind of elite media buyer. He was, you know, extremely good with numbers and, you know, like data and ad accounts and, you know, like managing that type of stuff. Spencer was like very, you know, into leadership, building operations. He was very knowledgeable around CRO, landing pages, and that type of stuff. And like, obviously both of them were incredible marketers who I learned a lot from. And so I kind of came in and kind of completed that circle with creatives and with ads, and, you know, with kind of adding my touch onto like creative system and like the creatives and the ads that they were putting out. So kind of all three of us kind of complemented each other super well. And yeah, right now, what I'm doing right now is I'm running a marketing agency together with Sean and Spencer. Now we're actually partners. And what we're doing is we are basically scaling and growing e-commerce brands, and we're providing a full stack service. So landing pages, creative strategy, so coming up with ad ideas, you know, writing scripts, actually making the ads. We also like do media buying for our clients, and we do like UGC, so like we generate content for them as well. So like we basically control every single aspect that it takes to, you know, scale and grow an e-commerce brand. And, you know, that kind of journey and that experience of doing that for multiple brands is what kind of led me to where I am now and where I'm, you know, currently. So hopefully kind of this gives you a bit of an overview of how I went from being a video editor to, you know, running a marketing agency. And there's obviously, you know, a lot of things that were happening in the meantime, you know, while I went from, you know, point A, you know, starting as a freelance video editor, just basically from zero, from beginning, to where I'm at now. You know, like just a lot of things happened. I basically, so when I started, I was just like, you know, working from home. I actually, not a lot of people know this about me, but I actually graduated uni. So I actually graduated uni. IT was kind of my qualification. So I did that, you know, in the meantime while I was kind of doing all of this. And yeah, I basically, after high school, I was working from home for like maybe a year or two. And then I decided I need to actually, you know, I need an environment where I can just work and where I can, you know, just lock in basically. So as I mentioned previously, I had that one friend, and then I had the other friend who I convinced of doing this thing for me. So basically the three of us started renting some office because all of us lived nearby, and that was honestly the second best decision that I made on my journey. Simply because when you have a place where the only thing that you do is work, and, you know, that's not your home, you can just lock in incredibly well. And, you know, that was just like another thing that I would 100% recommend. You know, if you have a friend, if you have, you know, a few buddies that you could do this with, like, just go ahead and do it. I can confidently say that your life is going to change, simply because, you know, we just constantly kept pushing each other, and, you know, it was just like it was a very good experience. So we rented that office, we kind of moved into another one, and then currently now we're in the third one, which we actually bought now. So we'll kind of, you know, plan on renovating it and stuff like that. You'll probably see me in the next video. I'll be in the office because, to be honest, that's where I spend, like, you know, 95% of my time, to be honest. So, like, my day right now looks like I wake up at 7, I get a cup of coffee with my mom. I get to office around, like, you know, 7:30, 8, whatever, and then I work until 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., whatever it is. So, like, that's honestly everything that I did for the last 6 months. So yeah, that's probably something you'll see more of in the coming videos. So just, like, you know, me working, and I'll show you, you know, some stuff that I'm working on and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, now when I'm kind of reflecting on all that I went through, it sounds, you know, so simple and so easy, but like a lot of things happen in the meantime, a lot of trial and error, a lot of you know, trying different stuff, you know, failing, and then, you know, learning from that experience. And I went through a lot of different experiences, which I really hope I can share with you guys, and I really hope, you know, I can bring that to you guys, and, you know, help someone if someone is, you know, on a similar path. And if you got until the end of this video, first I want to say thank you. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I don't even know who would spend 30 minutes just like watching me yap about random stuff, but if that's you, I really appreciate it. It really means a lot. And at the end of the video, I do want to say, so if any of this sounds remotely interesting to you, if, you know, if you want to get into marketing, if you want to start doing this, if you want to, you know, start working with e-com brands, if you want to start scaling brands, and, you know, if you want to start working on yourself and developing your skills, or even if you are, you know, working online right now, even if you're a video editor, even if you're a graphic designer, I genuinely think getting into marketing and learning marketing and, you know, adding that to your skill set is one of the best things you can do right now for your, you know, career and for your development, simply because it gives you so much higher leverage. So like, for example, if you're a video editor right now, and you're editing YouTube videos, or you're editing, you know, organic videos for content creators, you know, fitness influencers and stuff like that, if you're doing that, okay, you're getting paid pretty well, but imagine if you're doing the exact same skill, if you're just like producing ads, and if you're making ads for e-commerce brands, and your ads directly generate e-commerce brands more money. Naturally, you make more money. Okay, this is one thing, you know, like, this is some like tactical stuff and like technical stuff that I didn't want to talk about in this video, but like, you know, I'll definitely, you know, talk about it in the next videos. But, you know, in e-com space, and, you know, when you're working with e-com brands and when you're making ads, you're not limited by how many videos you can edit in a day. You're not limited by how many hours you work in a day. You are limited by how good you are at the thing you do. You're only limited by how good you are at selling products. Okay, if you can sell a lot of products for a brand, you get paid percentage of, you know, maybe the revenue you make. Maybe you get paid percentage of profit. But the point is, you could be making a lot of money from just like one single ad that you make. Okay, and that truly is, you know, one of the biggest reasons why I got into e-com, and why, you know, transitioned from, you know, working for, you know, small businesses, you know, running their organic social media, and why I got into this, because I realized this is where real money is, and this is where, you know, I can actually get better, and where I can actually work on my skills. So, you know, I would highly suggest you to, you know, get into this, and, you know, start kind of, you know, researching around this topic. And I basically made a perfect place for you to do that. It's called Free Marketing Course, and I made it free simply because I'm in e-com space for the last 4 to 5 years, and the biggest pain point brand owners and e-commerce brands have is there is not enough talent, which means there is not enough people that make ads. There's not enough video editors that understand marketing, that understand how to sell products. There's not enough graphic designers. There's not enough creative strategists. There's just not enough talent. Okay, and everyone in e-commerce right now is struggling with that. And since I kind of went through this journey myself, and I taught myself a lot of things, I decided to make this free resource for anyone who wants to get into this. You know, simply because I want to help e-commerce brands. First, I want to help them, and obviously, I want to help as many people as possible. Like I said at the start of this video, get into this, start doing this, start learning marketing, and, you know, start applying this stuff, and, you know, hopefully start generating some income, and, you know, making money online by doing this stuff, because it truly is. There truly will be no better time to start doing this. Okay, so if you're, you know, remotely interested in, you know, any of this that I was talking about, there's a link now in the description. It's called Free Marketing Course. There's a lot of videos in there talking about exactly how to get started, talking about my journey, talking about how I got started, and you can, you know, use the blueprint, and you can start doing the exact same thing yourself. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. And I know this wasn't really, you know, like maybe as much value, maybe not as you know, interesting as you maybe expected. But yeah, since this is my first video, you know, like my actual first video that I made, I kind of felt the need to talk a bit more about myself, who I am, what I do, and you know, just like provide you guys a bit more context about what I do. So yeah, hopefully I was able to do that, and you know, yeah, got you interested in doing the same thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.